And if you can find a salon, like I'm really proud of the way that we run ours with the freedoms we offer so that people don't feel like they're being micromanaged. But if you can find a salon that gives you those freedoms and then does the headache stuff for you, like that's really where the magic happens.
What's going on, everyone? Today we're talking about systems again, business systems. Should you do this? Should you do that? Is it worth paying attention to the systems everyone's arguing about online? We're going to run through a few systems and what to consider, and then we'll dive into how much time you should be spending weighing the pros and cons. Welcome to our show. My name is Todd. I'm here with my wife and business partner, Jen.
Hello.
Hello. Hair Pro. We are co-owners of Hello Hair Co. and Hello Hair Pro, and you are listening to the Hello Hair Pro podcast. So I heard this quote the other day somewhere, and I wrote it down. I don't know where it came from.
Okay.
Or I don't know where I heard it, but the quote is, people think innovation is just having a good idea, but a lot of it is just moving quickly and trying a lot of new things. And love them or hate them, it came from Mark Zuckerberg. And I'm sure more people are like, screw that guy. But
that's a true statement, though.
I thought there was a lot of value there. Yeah, when you unpack that a little bit, I was like, that's kind of what we do with our business. So we're going to break down. Yeah, we're going to break down some systems today. Not in too much detail because some of them we'll get there, but some of them don't really require all. It's
just things to think about.
It'll just be things to consider. Yeah. Exactly. And I don't think you have to spend 100 years weighing pros and cons on every single system for your business. I think it's more important to move quickly, try a lot of things, and then figure out what works for you, what works for your culture, what works for your brand, what works for your just mindset, your general freaking well-being. Yeah,
and pivot often.
Yeah, and this is a good topic too, because we made some changes to our business structure about around a year ago, I guess. And now we're making some more changes.
Yeah, what's going to be best for our culture.
Yeah, we gave it a year or maybe a little longer, and then that's an honest effort, right?
Yep.
And so now we make some changes and we hopefully are moving in a positive direction. And guess what? If something doesn't work, we'll just change it. Yeah. We'll just change it. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
Folks. All right, let's dive into the first one, which is pricing structure.
Okay.
This is like a hot topic. So you've got the traditional, I would say, a la carte's probably your most common.
Yeah,
I would say. And if you're not exactly sure, it's just pricing your service for the service. So your haircut price is X, your color price is Y,
whatever
chemical services are Z, yeah, and add-ons and things like that. And I think it gets a little tricky because no one, in salons that I've been around, no one knows how to charge for anything because they're like, well, I kind of did this. I kind of did that. Right. Should I charge this or that? Should I do half and half? Should I split the difference? To me, it's very confusing. And I would imagine that that's because those prices aren't really based on much math. Right. They're just based on whatever was there.
Correct. Or wherever you were in your first salon and then you went to your second or then you opened your third, whatever you did, you just kind of bring your prices along.
Yeah. And
you either add to them or I see often you decrease from them, however that goes, but you just are like taking what was and you're moving it in one direction or the other.
That I don't understand. I would never decrease a price. Doesn't make sense.
It happens often.
So fun fact for you guys,
I would agree with you.
If you're listening, you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle with inflation. The cost of goods are always going to get more expensive. You need to be raising your prices systematically.
Yes.
I don't even have that on the list, but you have to raise your prices systematically. All right. So that's a la carte pricing. And you have hourly pricing, which is just structuring your pay based on your time. So it doesn't matter what you're doing, haircut, color, chemical, whatever. If your rate is $100 an hour and it takes you $2, 100 times 2, it's $200. That's the price.
You just said $2 instead of 2 hours.
Oh, 2 hours? Did I?
Yeah.
All right. Great. That's cool.
If it takes you $2.
If it takes you $2 and you made $200, then you're doing good. It's a good margin.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then you have so with the hourly system, it's very clean. Mm-hmm. It's easy. There's nothing really to figure out.
Right.
If you can fit something into the hour, fit it in, right? Some maybe cons are going to be that people aren't used to it, stylists, and we don't like change, right? Humans don't. I mean, I like change, but most people don't like change, and people that say they like change really don't. As I don't think they like it as much as they think they like it, or the allure of being like, I love change. But then when you make a change, they're like, I'm out of here.
Like buying a new pillow. Right. That's the kind of change I like. I put some new wall art up and I'm like, ooh, this looks so good. That's the kind of change that most people like. Because it's easy. It's not uncomfortable. Like, you're just...
For sure.
Changing a color.
I think the hourly system is good if you have established people. Mm-hmm. Because the higher rate will actually cover everything.
Yes.
Because if you have a lower hourly rate and you're trying to squeeze all these things in to include them, you're losing money. And then you have, and I'm sure there are more. We're just going to cover this last one real quick and move on because this is just scratching the...
Yeah, just something to think about.
Yeah, things to think about.
How do you charge? Why do you do it?
Which is like a parts and labor. So this is how a lot of businesses run. Say you go to your mechanic or your electrician or your plumber or whatever. They have an hourly rate for them to show up and do the work. And then whatever it costs for them to get the parts to do whatever they need, that's added on top of the hourly rate, parts and labor. Pretty standard. Mm-hmm. Flaws there, just probably requires some training. Your staff is maybe going to forget to add things on or whatever. So you just have to, but that could be with anything.
Yeah. Really,
except hourly. I mean, unless you minus hours, sort of hourly pricing sort of prevents mistakes. Mm-hmm. Unless you price wrong from the jump, and then you're kind of screwed.
Correct.
I think the big takeaway from pricing structures is to try one out, okay? And then if you want to make a change and try it out. But just do your homework and do your math before. And then I would strongly recommend that you have, so if you're an established salon, I would strongly recommend you have, 6 months of reserves, just in case, because you never know. Your staff that loves change might leave.
Right.
Your clients might leave. I don't know. And so don't take any of this as actual, this isn't.
Right, but it's
this
good.
Is just based on our experiences.
When you're doing some different things to have that cushion to sit on so that the unknowns that will come up no matter what you're doing, you have some breathing room to work through them, right?
Yeah, correct. That's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. This one's not really a system, but something to think about for people. Discounts. Mm-hmm. Now,
want to know a way to make more money really quickly?
Sure.
Eliminate discounts and charge everybody the same. So if your haircut price went up last year from, let's say, $40 to $50, and you decided to, I'm using my fingers in quotes, grandfather in half your clientele to the $40, but anyone new coming in pays the $50. Get all your clients at $50 and you just got an increase. You just got a raise. You just got a promotion. And it's treating people fairly. So everyone that sits in your chair for that haircut should be paying for the same haircut. Like, the price should be the price. And that should make you feel good and them feel good that they're all getting treated the same. Because otherwise you feel salty and you start treating your $40 people differently than your $50 because you somehow you arrive at a place where they're not worth it as much because you were charging them less. But that's a you problem. And eliminate that and you'll feel great.
For sure. So I always tell people, get rid of discounts, period. Don't have discounts. Discounts aren't doing what you think they're doing. And the reason I say that so strongly, and I believe it, is because I'll read, studies that people do on consumerism and things, and price isn't always up there. Mm-hmm. It's not even the talent that you have. So when you're like, I'm uncomfortable charging X for my haircut, that's a you problem. Mm-hmm. As far as grandfathering, I wouldn't. My rent isn't grandfathered.
Right.
My rent goes up every year. or every 3 or whatever we've agreed to.
Yeah.
Inflation isn't grandfathered.
Mm-hmm.
That shit goes up every year. The cost of doing business in general just goes up. It's not grandfathered. So when you start grandfathering, it's very dangerous. And then I saw this a lot in the gym world. All of a sudden you're like, hey guys, I know you're grandfathered in, but I need to raise prices or I have to close this place. I can't keep up.
Right.
And then people, they bail because they've come to expect that. So if you want to take care of people, you can do it. Maybe think about having it in a different way. Maybe for their birthday, they get a special price on a haircut or something like that, but not just
all the time
throwing out discounts, $25 off, 10% off, 15% off, only new clients, only on this day. Now that's cool, but like, what are you, an airline, with adjustable pricing? And that is actually another business model I've heard a few people talk about. We'll explore it a different time. Anything else on discount?
I think too, the other part on discount that it gets tricky, in my opinion, is when you have referrals. So if Susie, who pays $40 for a haircut, refers her friend Betty, I'm giving everyone names today, then Betty comes in and she expects the haircut to be 40, but you check her out and it's 50. And now there's this weird conversation. Like, what do you say? But if just everyone pays the same, then it's just expected when they're referred, like, these are the prices. Or
you can't handle that conversation and you go, I'll just make it 40.
Right, which is generally what happens.
And then you become salty, like you said earlier, because your people aren't paying.
Because you're trying to get them there, but you just haven't arrived at that yourself yet, I guess.
Discounts aren't my jam.
No, mine
just
either.
Get rid of them. And we have helped people get rid of discounts, and they're like, I'm making like thousands of dollars more.
Just by getting their pricing.
Not even doing a pricing increase.
Right, just the discount part.
Discounts. Yeah. Eliminate that, and wow.
And once they see it for like just treating people equally, they're like, that makes total sense. Okay, you're right. And if they just do that, immediately are making more money.
I think the fairness too, you talk about that a lot, but why would you give a brand new client this like a free haircut with a color service or whatever, but your loyal clients have to pay full price?
Right.
So it just just gets weird.
The loyal client should get, like you said, the birthday haircut.
Or whatever. Yeah. Come up with something fun where people are like, hey, it's my birthday, I get a free blow dry, or it's my birthday, I get a free shave, or whatever you want to do at your shop, do it. Right. But again, try stuff out. You don't have to stick with it forever. You could say, hey, for the next year on your birthday, you get this. And if you have great results with it and people are like spreading the word, keep it. If not, drop it. No big deal. All right, the next one is tipping. Should you accept tips? Should you pretend to not care about tips? Should you be gratuity free? What do you think?
I think obviously, and not maybe obviously, oh my gosh. In the salon industry, tipping just happens. It's where it's at.
Yep.
What I do really despise about it is, let's say you don't get a tip and then you go in the back room and you start complaining. I think it looks so unprofessional. I think it comes from a place where you're relying for your income to be on tips. To me, if your prices are priced accordingly and correctly.
Bingo.
And when you check out your client and they choose to give you a tip, which is what a tip is, it's saying thank you. It should not be expected, but it can be appreciated.
Of course.
And if you're priced accordingly in your services, when you get a tip on top, like, wow, thank you so much. Like, that's how you should feel every time. Not like, she only gave me $10 this time, she should have given me 20. Like, listen to yourself and check yourself, because you sound ridiculous and you sound unprofessional. Raise your prices so that what you're getting for the services you offer, pay you accordingly. And then anything on top of that is truly something you appreciate, and you start to look at it differently. And if somebody can only afford to pay for the services they're getting, that should be okay with you. And if they tip you on top of that, that's great for you. Say thank you.
So
always say thank you.
Yes, I have two things. One you just touched on. So that might be the end range or the top of someone's budget, but they still want to support you, so they still come in. But they can't afford to tip. Say they get, I don't know, say they get a $500 service and they don't have an extra 100.
Right.
So they give you 50. And that's a stretch for them because 500 is their limit, but they're going over because they want to give you something, and then you complain.
Yeah, not okay.
It's not cool. The other side is that I keep, ever since I got into this industry a few years ago, I keep seeing like, we need to professionalize the industry. We need to take the industry, you know, to the next level. Well, how many professionals do you tip, really? Think about it.
Or define professional for you. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Like, I don't like, we just had a plumber in here at our house. I didn't tip him.
No, but you know what you did do?
What did I do?
Went and left him a 5-star review because he did amazing.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
Which will get him more business.
Right. Yeah, like, I would rather have that in the referrals.
Yeah.
But
that's a great way to appreciate who was ever doing services for you.
Whenever we use our lawyer, we don't tip him. He just gives us the rate and we just send a check. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes for any professional service. Like when you go to your dentist or your doctor, you're not like dropping a 50
so weird
on the desk, right? Can you imagine if you were like, thanks, doc?
That's why I like to really, you know, get people to think about like, what are you charging for your services? If you're charging less expecting to be tipped, like that just is a bizarre business model, first of all, to me. So charge your worth, but really figure out what do you need to make. And that should help you build your pricing structure so that at the end of that service, you are charging what you need to make for the service, for whatever else you need to cover your rent, whatever it looks like for you. And then, like I said, if you happen to be tipped on top of it, you truly are appreciative of the tip.
I've heard people say like, well, I think people would pay, say, $50 for a haircut. So I'll make my haircut price $50. Yeah, cool. But how much do you need to make to break even? It's not based on what you think
are not having a business.
People will pay.
Right.
That is setting you up for failure from the jump. Like you are just not paying attention to anything.
Yeah, like if you're a salon owner, you need to understand.
And I'm sorry if that's you, but you need to hear that and you need to hear it bluntly because you're screwing yourself. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but within a couple of years, you're going to be like, because I guarantee you, if that's how you're pricing, you're not doing systematic price increases either.
Right.
So now you're running into trouble.
As a business owner, you should know what each chair costs to run so that you understand what needs to be charged if someone's sitting in that chair. If you're an independent person, then you need to know what it costs to run your chair independently and with all of your overhead. And then you would put that into, well, you'd talk to Todd, not me, but you'd put it into a work of this is how much I need to make in order to run this chair in a way that I can be profitable.
Yes, you have to add profit into your pricing.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's not there.
Correct.
It doesn't just magically come.
So if you're just pulling your numbers out of the air, then you're going to run into a wall at some point, not understand why. And then now where do you go from there? Or you decided to, like I said, charge less than the person up the street, or you decided to just charge what your friend was charging, or I don't know how people do it. That's generally how people do it. I've seen it.
Another thing to factor into is that tipping is a form of obviously gratitude, but some people, it's the way that they show love. Mm-hmm. It's like one of the love languages is gifts.
Mine is gift giving.
Gift
right?
giving. Yeah. So what I've noticed when I've declined tips in the past is sort of a look on someone's face. And then I would think I was doing them a favor. Like, no, I don't need that $20. Like mm-hmm. you keep it or whatever. And really what I'm doing is taking away someone's joy mm-hmm. of giving.
Right.
Because they want to. So I stopped doing that. And now I'll just tell people that I don't expect a tip. But if they offer me something, I just take it and I thank them a million times, right? Because I am truly appreciative of it. Not sponsored by Tippy, but if you do, Tippy, I'll link it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Check them out. If you're like, I don't want to deal with tips, but you want a way for your staff to be able to get tips and it streamlines everything and it's super professional and
Tippy is the way to go.
You can utilize it. Yeah. Enough with the trying to hide money on all these things. And remember people freaked out about Venmo. And I was like, how much money are you fuckers hiding?
A lot.
That you have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Don't hide money if you ever want something like a house.
Yeah. Or a car.
Or whatever. So claim that stuff. Anyways, let's move on. So this was a big one because of COVID, but cancellation policies.
Yes.
Cancellation policies, look, the one that we use And I don't care what you do. If you have 24-hour, 48, I've seen 72. I've seen all these crazy numbers. And if you cancel before 72 hours, it's fine. If you cancel at 48 hours, it's 50%. If you cancel at 24, it's 100%. And then you need a deposit for your next thing. That seems like a lot of work. So what works for us at our salon is to just have conversations with individuals. So if you have somebody that's no-showing you all the time, it's not your policy. It's the person.
Right.
If you have someone
and not everyone should suffer because there's a few bad eggs in your your client base.
Also, I don't think that anybody out there, and if you are, call me out because I'm a big boy and I can take it, but I don't think anybody out there listening enforces their cancellation policy 100%.
No, I would guarantee that with you.
There's always somebody that's going to be like, well, that's a friend, or, oh, I know that they ran into car trouble, or...
Right. Then you don't actually have a policy, which would mean to have it...
It's not a policy.
Right. Unless you can enforce it 100% of the time consistently. Those things drive me crazy because I'm with you. Like, I think if you have a client that's no-showed you once and you even want to rebook them, that's shame on you. Because if they don't have the courtesy to call you that time, unless, I guess there's a big excuse, then maybe. But I generally, if we have even a new client that books an appointment and no-shows, they're just restricted. I'm not even dealing with you. And then you have your clients that, have been with you a long time and maybe something comes up and you understand. So it is what it is. But I think it comes down to a lot of people put a policy in place because they don't want to have a hard conversation with the 5 individuals that are screwing up their day, and just deal with those 5 people or get rid of them.
Yeah, I don't even reach out to people. If you don't show up, I just block you in the system and you're no longer welcome to book.
Right.
Period. It's that simple.
Yeah, my time's
There's really
valuable.
no conversation we need to have. You didn't show up. So... and I do get things happen from time to time, and that's why you have individual conversations. At least that's what works for us in our culture. I had someone that's a good client no-show me, and I still have to reach out to him because I totally spaced it. But he's a good client. He's a good guy. I'm sure something came up, or he got stuck, or he completely forgot. And my first thought was like, hope he's okay.
Right.
Not... he should have known or whatever. I didn't go post our stuff on social media trying to be passive aggressive to the people that aren't even on social media. They're probably not watching your shit. They don't care. Right.
You're going to offend the wrong person there.
Right. I think you're going after the wrong person. So cancellation policies, whatever you decide, just do it. And
just stick with it and be consistent, and it's for everyone.
Yeah. And guess what? If you get 6 months or a year in and you're like, this is not working, change it. Just change it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So, booking deposits. I've seen this one pop up a few times recently. I know people that have tried to take a deposit to book the haircut. I've seen this in a couple different ways. And I've seen it drop people's bookings. Mm-hmm. Because, it's almost 2023. We have to change that calendar over. Mm-hmm. Wrong month on there still. So... it's almost 2023. People want frictionless. They want to just book the appointment. They don't want to look for their credit card. They don't want to add another step. They don't want to have to grab the card out of the car, which I always have to do because I forgot the security code in the back. Those are things people don't want to do. Again, if you want to try, I know people do it with great success as well. I heard about a system yesterday where you pay a 50% deposit and it's constantly rolling if you want to book an appointment. So for example, you would pay, say the service is $200, you pay the $100 when you come in for your service. If you want to rebook the next appointment, you pay the $200.
Oh.
So you always have 50% rolling in.
Okay.
So we don't do that, but it might be worth exploring for you. I don't know. Anything else to add on booking deposits? That's pretty straightforward. Try it out.
Yeah, I have no opinion here. I've never done it. I don't know anyone that ever has. I'm sure the concept works for some.
I've talked to a couple people that have, and they've noticed dips in their online booking. They noticed it went down. And again, it's when they removed it, they noticed it went back to normal. So I
also, in that case, like my money works for me. I want it in my account, not in yours waiting for my appointment. So like that just wouldn't jive for me as a client if I was going to be one.
Exactly. I think
or in that situation.
I think with that, you're definitely dealing with whatever your clientele is, and that's what you're catering towards. Like our clientele, I don't think would care, but they like easy. They like that we make things easy. So I think it would take a little getting used to. I don't think we'd get, complaints if we changed anything, but I also don't think it's worth, I don't think this one is worth messing with. So
agreed.
Whatever you're doing, probably stick with it. And whatever, let's move on. So here's one. I don't know if this is a system more than a mindset or like trying to stroke your ego, but the whole, like, I'm always accepting new clients or my books are closed. So I have an opinion on this, and it's never, ever close your books.
I agree wholeheartedly on that one. I think it's the most bizarre thing. I think that, I mean, no offense to anybody, is an ego thing. They want to look busy than they are. Anybody in this industry, you should always be taking on new people because people move, people fall off, people go to other people. You're never able to raise your prices. If you're closing your books, you should be raising your prices. That's just common sense to me. That's why I guess the books closed doesn't make any sense.
Well, if you're booked 6 months out, say, for argument's sake, how are you going to raise your prices? You can't raise them for 6 months.
Right. You've got all these people booked in.
Because if I've already booked at a certain rate, I mean, that's the rate I agreed to make the appointment at.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't like booking out anyways. I mean, I have a few people that are like, just put me on every, first Friday of every month or whatever. That's fine. But it's a little different. If you have everything already booked in, I guess maybe you feel security and there's some stability that you get from that.
I can see that.
But you don't get the upside of being able to really pivot because you're not accepting new clients. So like you said, when someone drops off, you're not accepting new clients. So it's hard to fill when your client's you can't call up Susie and be like, Susie, you want to come in? She's like, no, I already have my next appointments booked.
And if that client drops off, you're like, oh, good, I've been so busy. There's another reason to just raise your prices and create your breathing room. Like, you don't have to work more if you can just create that situation where you can raise your price. The books closed one always kind of has been a bizarre thing to me. I mean, my book is very busy, has been for a long time, and I'm always accepting new people. And my first thing is when clients will say to me, hey, are you taking new clients? Yes, if they can get in when I am available. That's pretty much how I say that. Yeah,
you've had actually a bunch of new clients, which is surprising. Mm-hmm. Not surprising, but yeah, your clients are so consistent. Like, you've had the same clients, a lot of them that I've met for like 20 years. Yeah. And they're like, now that we work together, I've got to meet some of them. Yeah. And it's really cool to meet them and hear, that where they're like, I remember when Jen worked at, blah, blah, blah. And they're almost trying to one up me. And I'm like, so do I. Do you remember before that though? Because I do.
That's awesome.
So yeah, again, just, I guess on the closed books or accepting new clients, I would say keep your books open.
Yeah, I think
it's one of them that I do have an opinion on.
Yeah.
And I think it's just better for you.
I know as a stylist, it can be stressful taking on new clients because you don't know what their expectations are. You don't know who they are as a person, the experiences they've had in salons past. So I think there's a level of stress. And we talked about earlier, like, we think we like change, but the change we like is like a new pillow in our salon, not a new client, kind of, because we know what to expect out of the pillow, not out of the client. But what I can tell you, and I've embraced it over the last couple of years, because I definitely was in a world a couple of years ago where I was like, I don't want anyone new. I don't want to deal with that. It's too stressful. But I have grown so much as a stylist and my technical ability and my consultation over the last couple of years because I do take on new people. And now I find them to be super fun, and it makes it exciting, and I feel creative again when I throw in some new clients in between all the ones that I've known for so long. And I don't know, it's kind of upped my game in a way that I didn't expect it to, and has made it more fun for me. So if you're feeling stale, you probably need some new clients to like make it fun again.
Right. Good on that topic. All right. I didn't know if you were going to jump back into a story there. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is promotions and deals. So
steals and deals.
Steals and deals. Here's the deal. People's shopping habits have changed. When we first opened our salon, at your last salon, at every salon ever, we're always like, this month we're promoting this. And it was generally like, if you buy 2 products, you get 1% off. That percent just comes off of the money that you would be making.
Right.
So I never really, I don't know if there's enough upside. So there's nothing wrong with retail. We're actually going to jump in. We'll touch on retail next, but there's nothing wrong with retail, but we're not a retail store.
Right. We do hair. That's our specialty.
Right. I will 100% connect you with the products you need, and I will make money off of it because that's how business works. But I'm not worried about stocking shelves and doing extra ordering and all that stuff. It just, that's not how people shop. They're not, I don't know that buying a shampoo, conditioner, and styling product all together and saving 20% would be enough for me to drive to your salon. You know what I would do?
They're only going to do it if they're in the salon that day.
Right. So I don't...
During that promotion. I don't think you're getting business out of it. You might get them to buy an extra product if they're already in the store, but yeah, you're not driving business into your salon for that. Because honestly, if there's a salon next door to them in the town they live in that's doing that, they're just going to go get it there.
Right. Yeah. It's hard for me to, I guess, have a hard stance on this. Yeah. Because we don't focus very much on retail. Now, I do think it could be fun. Like we had like the spin the wheel thing. We had different things, but it didn't bring business in.
No, it just was.
It was just fun for the people there.
Yeah,
so if somebody was like, oh, I do this through the holidays, I play games and we raffle off product or whatever. If you want to try that out, and I don't care. That's cool. I'm cool with that. But for every discount you give,
someone's losing.
You're losing.
Which is the business.
Yeah. The business is losing.
Yeah. So it might not be as much as it may look fun on your social media, whatever, but it may not be a smart play, especially if you're not very profitable, that you're giving stuff away or you're discounting stuff that, you know, at the end of the month without those discounts could help you maybe break even.
Yeah. If you're not profitable, you can't afford to do any discounting, any promotions. That's not going to work for you.
Right.
And if you do it, it's going to be a very extremely short-lived thing. And you will realize that, yeah, this isn't bringing people in. Like, yes, I sold an extra styling product, but is that really going to make your business profitable?
And you could look at promotions in a whole different way. Like if you're like, oh, I'm not profitable, but I find fun in this promotional thing because it's where you came from. It's where you were brought up in whatever salon you were at previously. There are ways to promote stuff. It doesn't have to equal a deal or a discount. So you could bring in a new product. Like there's some new treatments out that one just came into our salon because it coincides with the company, with Evo. So you could just promote that you have that in the salon, and you could take the whole month to educate people on social media about that product and then let them know that you offer it. That could be it. It doesn't have to be a deal. It's just there's an offering. We have a new product. This is what it does. Come in and try it at our salon. Like you could just promote it, but not it doesn't have to be a deal and a discount. You could just promote it and get the information out there. And here's what would be really cool. And I'm telling you, you'll see this. The clients will come in and they're like, I saw your promotion on this thing. I want to try it. They're not trying it because you gave a deal. They're trying it because you gave them the information and they want it on their hair now. So you can turn that around and just start promoting actual information on the products and the services that you offer. And that's the deal. I'm giving you all this free information.
Most consumers, clients, customers, whatever you want to call them, I don't care. They aren't looking for a deal. They're looking for a solution to their problems.
Correct.
So exactly what you just said, Jen, is just educate. That's what you should be doing anyway. So educate in a positive way on your social media, on your website. You could do a blog. You could have a podcast reviewing products. There you go. Someone do that.
Right.
And highlight what problem of the client. So say you have a smoothing treatment. You want your hair to be less frizzy?
We have this.
This product will do X, Y, and Z for you. And then people are like, wow. So you're educating, you're making people aware, and you're letting people know that you have it if they decide to purchase it from you. Let's touch on retail. retail in general. So we carry some retail.
Very minimal.
Because certain things are custom through our color line.
Mm-hmm.
And certain things we want to be able to put in people's hands immediately. An example would be like an extension service.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else we would. That's pretty much it, right?
We keep bare minimum. And it's funny because I do all of our clients know that it's online, and I still have people that drive 2 towns over to come grab something. And I'm like, you're lucky this is even here. And I think they just want to come say hi. And that's really what it comes down to. But what I love about most of our online now retail that we offer is that company, they offer deals. Like I think right now there's $10 off if you buy online, you spend over $50. And so that's not coming off of, that's not affecting us. You know, they're sending it out from their warehouse. They're giving the discount. Like it doesn't affect us. And it's really kind of awesome because the client can get a deal. It literally ships to their house in 2 days. So it's easier for them even trying to come down to the salon.
And that's how consumers are making purchases now. Yeah. They're shopping online. It's easier.
Right.
It's just the way that things are moving. So I'm not against selling retail. If you want to have a retail front, but here's the deal. If you have a ton of square footage, it needs to be generating the same money that a chair would generate there.
That's a key point because first of all, if you're a salon or a barbershop, like you're there to do hair, not to sell retail. And if the retail is not generating as much money as the station would.
Dear distributors, don't hate us right now. We still connect people with your products.
We do. And that's where the online comes into play. But you're there to profit. And
we use
generally your stations are going to do that.
Yes. The stations will generate more money than a retail shelf.
Yeah.
Now, we basically what we do is we have our website set up with affiliate links so that the people can purchase directly from our distributors. So we're still supporting our distributors. Correct. And we still love them and purchase everything from them for our salon, obviously. So I don't want anyone to think like, don't sell products. No, we sell products.
Yeah.
We just don't stock products.
Yeah. Like
we're not a warehouse.
Honestly, like the last salon that I owned, it was really stressful to try to keep enough product on the shelf so that we weren't out of it. And it was a big line that we had. So like you'd need 3 or 4 shampoos and stuff, everything. And so when you look around.
Started with an A.
Ended with an A. When you look at our shelves though, there was probably $15,000 worth of just retail sitting there. And then they would bring out a new product. So you had to do the buy-in for the new product. And if you didn't buy in at the right level, you weren't getting all the free collateral with it. And then holiday would come and it was like
all the free collateral that was 100% every single time not available.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
You get all this stuff. Yeah. You get it in 9 months, but you get it.
You have it. And then there was holiday and it was like, how are we going to purchase all this holiday? And then we're stuck with this holiday. And the brain power it was eating up in my head as an owner, like I didn't realize at the time was even an option to not have because it would just stress me out. And so to kind of take that and now put it into growing our staff, growing our business, and keeping a minimum of retail on hand is quite fantastic. And also it really does help us as a business to pivot. If we change the direction we want our business to go in, and maybe there's a new company that comes out that we want to align with, it's very easy now for us to do that because we are not housing $15,000 worth of retail on our shelves. So it really kind of helped, I guess, take that part of the business and not make it this major job that it was for me previously.
Well, yeah. And then you have to account for, you have to have somebody stocking that product. You have to have somebody cleaning the shelves, dusting the products, like all that stuff.
It was a lot of work.
It's sometimes it's sitting there, or we've dealt with, label changes and all that stuff in the past with companies.
As soon as they rebrand, then you have the old stuff and they're like, oh, put it on sale. Like, put it on sale? I'm not making any money if I put it on sale. Like, just replacing what I paid for it. And nobody wants old product. Or old packaging. They want new.
Right.
It's just how our brains are wired.
So we have a few more to touch on. But before we do that, I want to let you know the show is brought to you by
Ping Pong
Design and Marketing. If you want to love your website or you're looking for more clients to fill your business, reach out to Ping Pong. They're offering our audience a special discount. Visit the show notes, reach out to Chris, talk to him about your needs. We use Ping Pong and they're great. So check them out. And back to the show. So next thing I want to touch on is marketing. Look, you have to have
Ping
some,
pong.
just call Chris. This was so much easier if you just do that. But you have to have some sort of marketing plan, especially if you're someone that's like, I'm a books closed person.
Yeah.
Because eventually when your clients leave, if you know nothing about marketing and you don't have a plan, even if your books are closed, now how are you going to acquire more clients? If you're somebody that is opening a new salon, don't just think if I build it, they will come.
No.
They will not.
No.
You need to let people aware.
And you need to find a marketing. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you can't just be like, I have a great location.
Yeah, that's not enough anymore.
That doesn't mean somebody's coming in to see you.
And don't be duped by someone who's like, I'm really great at marketing. I can do this for you. If they can't show you in real time how to measure that, then it's not the right fit. And I've been through a lot of people that said they can do a lot of things and it's had bad effects. So you want to find someone reputable. You want to find somebody that truly can show you what they can help you achieve. And you want them to be honest, because let me tell you, the marketing game plan does not happen overnight. It is a long game. It is a marathon. It is something that you're going to continuously have to keep doing. And if they tell you that that's not the plan, then they're lying. Like, it's not like, oh, you're just going to market this 1 month and you're going to be all set. Like, marketing is something that you're going to need to do for the whole life of your business. And I'm talking whether you are a salon in business, whether you are an independent person, wherever you sit in there, whether you're in a suite, it doesn't matter. You need to be doing some marketing.
If no one knows you exist, that's bad. Mm-hmm. And you might think you're well known in your like circle of clients. But you're not. No one knows you outside of that.
And you're not going to grow beyond it. And then if you do want to make changes in your business, you're going to be so afraid to do so because you're not marketing, you're not getting new people coming in, and you're not seeing new business. So you're kind of become stuck.
And you brought up independent. That's great. So if you are independent or you're going independent, have your marketing strategy before you go independent.
Absolutely.
Why do we say go independent? What the hell is that from? Someone said that first, right?
You did.
You don't become an independent.
I don't know.
Go independent.
Yeah, whatever.
Kind of weird. But anyways, marketing. The next thing I want to talk about is sales. So you have to have processes. I think it's important. So what does it look like when a transaction happens? How do people pay you? What does it look like when someone calls on the phone? Do you have people just answering the phone however they freaking feel like it on that day? Or do you say, hey, this is how we answer the phone here, and this is what you do to book the appointment, and you make it happen? So I'm a big fan of just clean and simple. So, for example, if you call our salon to book a service, I'm going to ask you if you've been in or not before, because we might need to build out your account. And then I'm probably going to ask you how you heard about us while I'm typing your name. And then I'm going to get your information. This is all sales stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get your email, your phone number for confirmations, email for marketing, or phone also for marketing. You can do text campaigns or whatever, right? What do those processes look like? What does it look like when a walk-in literally walks in the door? Mm-hmm. How do you convert them into a customer? That's sales.
Right.
So you need to have some sort of a process for that.
And it's a big deal. And again, whatever type of salon or barbershop you're running, you want these things
in place.
Thank you. In place, because customer experience is huge, right? Like we have a system in place for our like beverage service. I show people how to hold a cup because I used to waitress, and I don't want you holding a cup at the top where someone's lips go. So it is something we go over with our staff. Like when you're serving your coffee, I want you to be holding the cup here. Not everybody thinks about that, but those little details, they mean a lot to me. In that case, one of the things we do is we give a tour because it's a big deal for a client who's coming in and very anxious, especially if they're new. I want them to know what other services we offer, and I definitely want them to know where the bathroom is. Like I want them to feel comfortable so that they know the layout of the space. And, those are little things, but to me, they have a big impact because client experience is a big deal to us. Like I want them to feel amazing.
For sure. So let's dive into retention because that's where I had my thoughts on like giving tours and showing people around. And that sort of thing. I think you can put it in one basket or the other. Some stuff with sales and marketing gets it can go back and forth,
right.
But keeping it surface level, like I don't think we need to cram it into one bucket, but we look at retention. Like a big part of like what you just said is how someone feels walking into a new salon to have a service done. It's different for like a color client than it is for me. Like my haircut's going to grow out in 3 weeks. So I'd be fine. But walking in and putting trust into someone to lighten your hair or to do a transformation or whatever can be nerve-wracking. So how can we make it not? How can we make the person comfortable?
Right.
How can we make them feel heard, feel appreciated, feel respected and valued? And those are the things that you do for retention. I will go through, I just did this yesterday, actually, last night. I'll go through our review system that we've talked about it on the podcast before, but we have an automatic like review that goes out. It's internal only. It's not public facing, and people can leave feedback. So I go through and I'll send emails, a couple emails like, hey, Becky, glad you were happy with your hair pro. Hope to see you back at the salon soon. Let me know if you need anything, and they'll email back like, thanks so much. Everyone was so friendly. That's an email I woke up to this morning, which is cool. But that's retention because people know that you care. It's not just like, take your money. Yep. See you next time. Pat on the butt. See you.
And those relationships, and I've talked about this a lot, is really what keeps the client coming back. You can do okay hair, but if you know how to connect with a client, you've got them. Like that's just where that's at. That's what people are looking for. And that's the fun of it, I think. I like doing the hair too, but making the relationship is the cool part.
Yeah, the connection with people is cool. Yeah. All right, so the last thing, unless you have anything to cover, and we're going to keep it super surface level because this is a whole other show, but should you be a rental or commission? So I guess you can think about it, should you go independent or be an employee?
Right.
Or you can think about it as you're the salon owner. Should you rent chairs or should you hire commission employees? They're the same.
It's just how you want to structure the pay.
It's just how you structure your pay. It's
or your taxes.
It's the same. Do you want to do your taxes? Or you want to have someone take that out for you?
Do you want to do your ordering, or do you want someone else to do the ordering?
Right.
Like, do you want all the risk on your plate, or do you want someone else to have it?
So there's.
And if you can find a salon, like I'm really proud of the way that we run ours with the freedoms we offer, so that people don't feel like they're being micromanaged. But if you can find a salon that gives you those freedoms and then does the headache stuff for you, like that's really where the magic happens.
Agreed. And I don't think one is better than the other. Here's why I say that, because so a lot of people will say, well, if you're independent, you make more money. Okay, but you're working more, so you should.
You have more jobs to do.
Right. Of course you're making more money. You're doing the ordering.
And if you don't, then you like that's the whole point of it is, you're making more money because you have more to do.
Right. You have to order your products. You have to,
you're in charge of everything.
Do all that stuff, do the banking. Yeah. You don't just get to collect your check and
you're in charge of your own
home.
Marketing now. You're in charge of your software. You're in charge of your credit card fees.
Right. And you're going to accumulate all those costs.
Right.
I will say to be careful, because I see this a lot on social media lately, and it's maybe just because I'm hyper aware of it for some reason, or, you see something once and then you just see it over and over. But I see these companies that are like, you get to keep 100% of your money if you rent from us. How? First of all, it doesn't even make sense. No one is keeping 100% of anything. The tax man is coming.
Yeah.
1. 2, you just said, if I rent a chair from you, is it free?
Right.
You got to pay for the chair. Right.
And I have to pay the taxes. I have to pay for the chair. Then I got to pay for all my products.
I need products to do the hair.
Then I got to pay for my insurance.
Right. You need insurance. You're going to have to pay an accountant. If you sign anything, you should have paid a lawyer. Or you're a knucklehead.
Right.
Don't do stuff without those things in place. I've talked to people in the past that are like newly independent people that are like, do you think I should reach out to an accountant? And I'm like, what?
You already should.
You should have done that before all this other stuff. Because that's the person that's going to be honest with you, hopefully, and tell you if this is a good decision or not.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can dive into that stuff. And as far as like the independent thing, if you're going to hide money, obviously, like, you know, a law-abiding business can't compete with that.
Right, for sure.
So if somebody's like, oh, you get to keep 100% of everything, again, that's not true.
Yeah, that's...
And it's not true for very long.
Right.
If you do decide to do that. We can dive more into that rental commission thing, because I do think it's interesting. When you break it down, I think it's very, very close, the money. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that people realize that. So when you are an independent person and you have your LLC, that LLC is probably going to pay you as a commission employee, right? There's a percentage that you're going to account for. That's pay.
Should be.
It's the same. Mm-hmm.
I think I do. If you're
the freedoms and stuff, I agree with. And I wouldn't want to work at a salon that's like, you can't take off days around the holidays. If you don't have clients, you have to come in and sit here. You have to go to mandatory meetings.
Which is, I think, what started the movement. But I think now if you can find a salon...
And it should have, because people shouldn't be treated that way. That's ridiculous.
I agree. I think one of the big changes that should be if you're in a great commission salon is the support, the team, and the culture you get in that commission salon. And the push to always kind of do better, be better, meaning like take classes, keep educating, we're going to raise your prices. And when you go out on your own, that can be a very scary place to be. So you don't ever push forward because you're so afraid of losing everybody that you get very stale very fast. We are even just talking about bringing on someone to help our staff with investing if they choose to. Like, these are things that we offer at our salon because I want really for our staff to be very successful in life on many different fronts, not just from their salon day-to-day life. I want to make sure they're taken care of. I can't take care of everybody, but I can sure as heck bring someone in that I trust to help them talk about their finances and if they choose to use it. And that's part of like being on our team that we do.
Yeah, for sure. That is going to be cool. Yeah, and if somebody's on our team and they're like, I want to save money, like where should I put this money? Like, that's why we'll talk to a financial planner or connect you with them so that what do you want to invest in? Right. Do you want to look at real estate? Do you want to look at stocks or whatever? Right. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. All right, we're out of here.
Peace out.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. We will catch you next week. If you're not on our mailing list, get on there. We send out a short weekly email.
It's good.
All right.
Have a great day.
Bye.